She looked happy.
Yeah. Well, of course, when,
Yeah.
when you become a parent, you tell your children everything clearly and concisely, and then they don't
Of
believe half
course.
of it. And you're like, what? What happened there? But one interesting thing, I mean, we all look back on our past with some sense of embarrassment, and I know you're a bit embarrassed about this now, but you said that you never, when you were in the movement, you never really took much time to look at the science.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did not know what percent of the atmosphere was CO2. I didn't know it was 0.04% until 2019. And I had been doing this since beginning of 2016. So that's really embarrassing. And it's just the easiest thing to fall for, because the media messaging is extreme weather is getting worse. The storms are worse. The droughts are worse. The rain is worse. Summer is worse. All these things. There's no snow. And we are seeing some things because we are going through a warming period. So maybe we have had milder snows in New England than when my parents were growing up, right? That is true. But the way the climate movement frames it, it's impossible to debunk it, because then every time there's an extreme weather event, which always happens every year, there's something crazy happening. Your brain assigns that pattern of, this is climate, this is worse than it used to be. Although, how would I know? I don't know what it used to be like. I don't know what rain sounded like, 100 years ago. I don't. And then,
Hey, you know what the climate change narrative reminds me of? You know those prophets that say, oh, and you'll get a sign and this is gonna happen to you, and then this is what it means, but the sign they give you is so vague.
So night is associated to weeping. You are about to pray. The morning will not come on its own. You will command it. It said, hast thou commanded your morning? You don't wait for the morning to come. Now, geographically, it will come on its own. But spiritually, the morning does not come on its own. You command it by faith. Is someone ready to pray? Say, in the name of Jesus, every night season over my life, over my destiny, by the power of the blood, my night turns to day. Now, open your mouth and pray. Night turns to day. Weeping turns to joy.
That you're like, it could mean this or it could mean that, or like they interpret a dream for you and you're like, but okay, it could mean this. That's what the climate movement reminds me of, because they're like, the earth is getting so hot and everything is gonna die and the sea levels are rising and we have to recycle plastic. For the whole year it'll be normal weather, and then like 3 days in the summer it'll be like 110 degrees, and they're like, look, we're right, the world is melting away. And you can't say this kind of stuff on social media, because everybody's gonna rip you apart, bro. Everybody's gonna think you just hate Earth and you just want everything to die on Earth and all of this and that. So people actually end up not looking. I actually lost a friend over something like this. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I lost a friend over the climate debate. I was like, bro, the climate debate, this climate movement thing isn't like that serious. They've been saying stuff about this since the early 1900s. And it never came up. They said we would be in an ice age around this time. An ice age, bro. They've been saying crazy stuff for the longest time. And
wait,
so
what? So what'd you say that the friend?
It was a bunch of other conversations. Like, it had stuff to do with a little bit of politics. It had a little bit to do with the Trump election that happened at the time, and what we would get with this person and that person. I was like, hey, look, I don't even support the current president specifically. I just like the things that they say better than this other person. I'm not focused on the person.
This whole political fight is just like, come on,
it's
man.
Just a waste of time,
what
man.
What you doing, bro?
Just a waste of time, bro. Live. But yeah, I think the climate thing was a nail in the coffin for that relationship, because I have never heard from this person ever since. The climate thing is a really, really big deal, where your identity is basically tied into being for the climate and being for Earth and all of this stuff. And at the end of the day, you're wrong. Science is always guessing. So when you stake your social life on surrounding yourself with people who support your very notion of how the Earth is going to burn and melt away, you're going to lose a lot of friends, and you're going to lose a lot of sensible people who frankly just don't go with the wave of information that science keeps putting out.
Just it propaganda tool. But again, like for me, it was not even intentional. Like there was no like CCP person like behind the keyboard. Like it was all very organic. And I think that's what's kind of confusing for people, is how there wasn't like one like leader. It was more amorphous and based off of emotions.
And you mentioned, previous activism, because there's another example which I think is very pertinent here. And when I heard your story, and I mentioned this to you at Heartland, I thought about Whittaker Chambers and his involvement in the American Communist Party. And one of the things that was part of his story, Into the Darkness and Then Back Out, was that when you join a movement like this, it's not just about the cause or a particular position that you take. It becomes your social identity. And this can be reassuring if you're someone who is insecure or hasn't found their place in the world, but it can also trap you, because to leave the movement doesn't just mean ceasing to believe that 2 + 2 is 5. It means losing your social circle and also, to a surprising degree, your sense of self.
Yeah, that really resonates with me. And I know you recommended that book to me. It's on my list now. Yeah, I think it's a very universal experience. And I think what I had to do, so I think the biggest before and after in my story too is not even the changing of my mind, because that started to happen. And even when I was in the climate movement, I would notice some of the inconsistencies of the messaging, right? But I was kind of just like, you know what, it's existential. I'm not going to ask too many questions. We just got to push, which is really irresponsible. But that's kind of where I was. And so I could see that things didn't always make sense.
Yeah, you'll find that too, where people are like, this sounds good. It sounds like the earth is in danger. It sounds like the Arctic is melting. It sounds like the polar bears are starving. I don't need to hear anything else. I'm going to just keep going straight with this message. Everybody is wrong. If you're not with me, you're against the earth. And it's like, people start to make a status out of it. Like, if you're not for me, then you're an evil person type of thing, which directly goes against God's creation. Like, how does God create a world where humans can completely destroy it that easily? Like, we're just living in it. We're just advancing in the world. You really think we're going to destroy because we made too much plastic? No, we're going to get to a point where we're like, all right, this is way too much. And then someone is going to come up with a way to help the process. Like right now, there's recycling, there's turning it into other materials and all of that.
Hey, speaking of that, you just reminded me about something. There's a young guy that knows how to use plastic as energy, as fuel. He has found a way. Have you heard about him?
Yeah.
He can turn it into fuel now. So we do have ways. There's nothing that should be going to waste for just nothing after we use it.
Exactly.
You can turn it into something else and repurpose it. And he found out how to repurpose plastic.
And it just takes time.
And I'm kind of scared for him, because they might try to come after him. Why? Because it'll make things cheaper, and they don't want that. They want to control what's out in the market, and it's all about the mucho dinero and the control of that. Yeah,
but like, it's like, can we really? Me personally, I'm really having a hard time thinking that these scientists that have million and billion-dollar funded labs and research initiatives and all of it, I really find it hard to believe that they haven't come across such an understanding before. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've heard the whole thing around I think, was it Nikola Tesla that invented a car that can run on water?
Oh,
Yeah, it's a thing out there. It may or may not be real, but the idea here is there have been many inventions and many ideas that have just been shut down because it doesn't benefit the pockets of the ultra rich or the people who are currently in charge of the thing.
Exactly. Just thinking about it, honestly, we could make cars run on any source of energy: water, air, fire. Bro, we avatars out here. We could make a car out of anything.
Nuclear energy is very volatile. Yeah, we get it, but we could get it to a point where it's not as volatile. And then we could get it to a point where we could have it providing energy for everyone to have energy in their cars. But no. If you do that, now that means every car industry or every car builder now has to reconstruct their car to have a different engine, different system, different framework to be able to run this energy that's free for everyone. No, they can't do that. That's why solar stuff is so expensive, because if you have enough solar, you could basically go off the grid and sell your energy, but it's so expensive right now. And I don't think we're going to get to a point where they're like, solar is extremely cheap, go ahead and no. Like, to get a house filter system, you realize that the city has really bad standards for water. So when they send water to your house, the pipes that they're using to send the water to your house, those pipes are dirty and nasty. They can't clean all of those pipes. So they put a bunch of bleach, a whole bunch of stuff in it to make sure your water is safe, but it's really not safe. If these people who make money from saying that the world is dying and not really putting forth a solution to just saying, hey, the world really isn't dying, we just need to come up with a way to recycle these things, like, they're going to lose a lot of money. All of a sudden, they're not in control of the narrative anymore. And so the best way to do this is to get people to buy in. And they've been lying about the climate stuff for years, man.
Yeah. And this is one, and then one more thing. There's this guy that found a way how to make his car run longer, because he figured out one of the companies, I'm not going to name the company, one of the car companies made it in a way where the gas is being eaten fairly quickly, like you run out very fast. But he figured out a way to tweak some parts or something like that to where the gas now doesn't burn as quickly. And I don't know what happened to him, but apparently
I don't know what happened to him.
Apparently he's gone.
I would like to look. Yeah, he's gone with the wind. I'd like to look into him and see what actually happened. I never heard of this before.
But the virtue signaling and the support from the group was what kept me in, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm a good guy and the good guys are fighting for this, and like, we'll work out the details later. And then I started to question, and I really went silent. I stopped posting on my Instagram account. I think I posted one time in 5 years. And I was really insecure. Even like that one time I posted, I was actually talking about how like plastics, I no longer was like worried about plastics when I became a mom, whatever. I got a lot of pushback and I was like, oh, I'm not like strong enough for this. Like, this is really scary. And then, so this second time when I finally like made the final push, I had done a lot of like my own growth and healing of my own self and my sense of self and building up that sense of self. So I was more solid inside of myself, so that when I knew inevitably the onslaught of hate was going to come my way.
That's crazy. She has to set up barricades of personal growth and resilience to be able to post something on social media that has to do with the truth. It's kind of like what we do here, man. You got to have a certain kind of personality to be able to make YouTube videos and not let these people get to your head.
Yeah, or just don't put so much stock into it. Just know that some people just are gonna say what they want to. You know, I don't really care that much. I'm not gonna.
Sometimes it hurts a little bit more when it's your friend, though.
Oh, if it's your friend, yeah, that's a different level. But we're talking about people that you don't know personally.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm fine if you don't like me.
Calling me names and all this stuff. I was like more prepared for it, and I was strategically ready to just not listen to the haters, but focus on the people who I was reaching, the people who were ready to hear my message, the people privately messaging me and saying, thank you so much. Like, I've had similar evolutions, or I've had concerns, and you're bringing a lot of these thoughts like into my awareness, whatever. And I would say the first shift was harder. And now I'm like, I have hater blockers on. Like when we were at the event together, I got protested, I guess, which was an odd moment where someone like stood up and interrupted my speech. And I kind of was just like, wait, what's going on? Like, oh, they're protesting me. Like, that's kind of like, it's funny because I'm just sort of now in such a different world.
Yeah, you just have to get your mindset right, man. Because people are gonna say crazy stuff. And when you're speaking the truth based on like real science and stuff, you remember like when all the injections stuff came out a couple years ago, like we're like, hey, like this is what science is saying, and people are like, no, just do what you're being told. And like, if you said anything that went against the narrative, you got blasted on social media. Your accounts got locked up. You got blocked from YouTube. Man, let's not go that route. But that's where society goes. And if you're against saying, hey, climate change isn't as extreme as they're saying, like, let's relax a little bit and figure out a solution. People are like, oh, you suck. And then they go home and eat some takeout food and throw the plastic in a trash can. It's just for, what do they call it? Virtue signaling. I'm a good person in front of everyone, but when I go home, I do some stuff that actually is the opposite of it.
You know, let's stack up the points so everybody can, you know, be on our side. But, you know, it reminded me of a show where the lady was like, oh, yeah, meat is bad for you. You know, meat is filthy. How can you eat that? She was caught eating ribs at a restaurant, chowing down. I'm talking about pig style. You know, she was the dirtiest. She was the dirtiest of them all. But she was talking about how people are dirty eating. Yeah. So that's kind of the same game.
You know, the people who have an agenda and have some power in societal influences, they use that to their advantage. Because when you go out there and you start talking to people, people are like, oh, really? I didn't know that. But you go on social media and you start talking to people are like, oh, you suck. I'm going to torch your car. And it's like, okay, two completely different worlds here. So, and it's like, that's how truth works, is oftentimes you're saying, hey, I have information. And people are saying, yeah, but your information doesn't fit the narrative. So you need to shut up and sit down.
Man, this climate change thing, honestly, I forgot about it. But yeah, it was intense. You know, one particular year. It's going to be used for a particular reason, but is it really happening?
Yeah, I agree. Yep. So hope you guys got some value out of this, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for watching The Holy Duo.